Ladies and gentlemen, honorable members of the third Parliament of Youth Impact Parliament Ghana of YIM, I want to welcome you to our post-inaugural orientation for today, the 22nd of August 2023. Let's have prayers from Hubert. Yes, Hubert, please give us the prayers. Okay, if Hubert is not active, anyone? Okay, Mano, give us the prayers. Yes, Mano. Yes, Mano. Okay, anyone?
Probably they have not unmuted, so we can't hear them. They should unmute.
Yes, I think they have actually forgotten to unmute. So,
Probably they have not unmuted, so we can't hear them. They should unmute.
yes, I think. Okay, so please unmute yourself before you speak. Unmute yourself before you speak. Manuel, unmute yourself and pray for us. Oh, okay. This is how we are going to do. Richmond, okay, give us prayers.
Okay, we are praying. Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. Thank you for blessing us, for the protection that you've given unto us throughout the day. Daddy, as we are about to start the program, as we are about starting the meeting, it's our prayer that you will grant us all the knowledge, wisdom, and an understanding that we are going to need. Once again, I pray, commit the speakers into your care. Daddy, oh Lord, may you speak through them. May them impact onto us the knowledge that they've acquired, so that in the end, glorify and honor we will give unto your name. This and many more we ask in Jesus' name, have we prayed with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Richmond. Thank you very much, Richmond, for your prayers.
Thank you.
We'll now move straight to the welcome address. Um, Honourable members, thank you very much for being here for the orientation section, post orient, post inaugural orientation. This orientation, as you have taken your oath, is being seen as the orientation to guide you on how to do your job and be the best of UFMPs you can ever be. It is relevant because some people, after they take up the job, they don't have any other grooming. It's been seen that they already know the job. But as a matter of fact, they might not know their left and right. This is the relevance of this orientation section. We have two external facilitators and one internal facilitator. I myself am the internal facilitator and I'll be the last person to present. Our first external, uh, who is also one of our fathers, one of our patrons, Mr. Simon Avorgah, will be our first presenter to take us through leadership roles and ethics and all other behavioral issues that are associated to leadership. After that, we'll have questions and answers, and then from there, we'll proceed to the next external facilitator, Mr. Joshua Tetteh, Research Assistant at Parliamentary Service of Ghana. If he's around, he'll give us his presentation. If he's not around, we'll proceed to my presentation. And my presentation is going to be on um, your duties as UFMP. I'll touch on duties of the leaders as well, the functionality of Parliament, and then the functions of committees, and then the leadership of committees. And in doing so, basically taking you through the standing orders of the House and then the Constitution. And any other question that you have to ask, this is the time to ask it. Whatever worry that you have after my presentation, you present them all for us to deal with it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for turning up for this post-inaugural orientation as well. I'll now, on this note, invite our first facilitator, Mr. Simon Avorgah, one of our patrons, who also was present at the inauguration. Today, he has come again to extend his wealth of knowledge and his fatherly love to us so that we shall benefit from his experiences and knowledge he has acquired over the years due to his love for the youth and the wish for the future leaders of this country to be the best. On this note, may I now invite Mr. Simon Avorgah to now take the floor and then make his presentation to us. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Speaker. I'm honored to be with you for these few moments to share and it is even endemic, even at the national level, where leadership is being practiced as the leadership intended what leadership is. And so I will spend some few minutes, I will more so that you can have time for other speakers to also orient. Yeah, I think that these are, let me call it, codes of conduct, and by extension, code of practice or code of discipline in assuming your role as a leader. We have had situations where we've heard of how leadership has been defined, and up to today, some of you still hold the old archaic understanding of a leader. Leader is a servant. Leader is sacrificial. Leader is whatever. Those are established principles, concepts that is known and accepted. But the question is that how much seen in the real practice of leadership? Today, we are talking about leadership not because we feel that people at the top are too bossy and too authoritarian, and then that person must be seen to be so humble and calm. No. In the era in which we are, an era of technology, an era of information, an era of creativity and innovation, there is the need for anybody who assumes leadership ambitions or assume leadership position to be innovative and creative in the process of leading. Being innovative and creative is what will cause the people you are leading to also change and follow the trend. And in the midst of doing some of these things, especially in this era where we are talking about innovation in creativity, liberties, and all of those things, some leaders go beyond or go out of the boundaries and therefore create a bad impression about leadership. We take a look at our political scene. For me, I don't think that parliamentarians to be on television programs and radio programs arguing with other parliamentarians or other people. A parliamentarian must be called to explain the needed technicalities, the needed information regarding an issue of law. But look at what is happening. Leaders in government, leaders in the highest position, speak anyhow, do anything anyhow, do things with all kind of impunity. And then you ask the question, what are their principles? What are their etiquettes? We are talking always about the future leaders, the future leaders. And it will come to a point that you realize that the future that you were talking about has come to pass, and you are still talking about the future. If you don't put yourself properly to fit into the gap or the gap, which will make you a leader. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to indulge you to come along with me as I discuss some of these things. And some of them, we know them, but we think that, it is not so relevant, it's not so significant, and therefore let it go. Last, when I was with you at the JCR, I started talking about some of them. And so I want to indulge you to come along with me as we look at that. And for me, because of my Christian beliefs and my Christian background, I will always want to situate some of my concepts and practical cases in the Bible. So my first situation of leadership is that of Moses. Moses did not determine by himself to be a leader. He was chosen. But he had to go through various challenges to assume that leadership position. And from the Bible narratives, you come to realize that whatever Moses went through was to help him to practice leadership appropriately. And sometimes you look at Moses' situation and look at his end. The Bible said that Moses did not do what God told him to do. And so he, Moses, will not step his foot on the promised land. That means that Moses will not be alive when the goals of his leadership and the people he's leading is being accomplished. So certain little things can cause you to lose the benefit of the goal that you have set yourself. And that's what I'm saying. If you are saying that you are going to be the leaders of the future leaders and whatever, but you don't do certain things right, the future would have passed and have gone into the past, but you will not know and you still be looking into the empty future. We can also talk about David. Similar situation. Brilliant leader, a fighter, an army strategist, somebody who could win battles. He started from taking care of the animals and learn his etiquettes in taking care of the animals. But when you got to a stage of high-level leadership on human beings, David had to mess up one way or the other, and therefore, let's say that lost his ethics. And then, though we can talk about his achievements, there are also bad examples that David left for us. Jesus is also another leader, and he came to do something within 3 years, and his impact has affected the whole world for years, for for thousands of years. His presence and his impact of leadership is still there to be referred to. So it is important that when we are talking about leaders, there is the need for us to look at what actually makes a leader. I am not talking about the qualities of a leader. I'm not talking about the characteristics of a good leader and all those things that you have learned. I am talking about the etiquettes, the ethics, the values of leadership. You don't need to be at the leadership position before these things are seen in you. When you start now, you build it up. So the first thing I will talk about of the etiquette of leadership is that you must, this is a general point. You must lead yourself. So note it. The first etiquette of leadership is that the leader must lead himself. Many a times people forget, oh, I'm a leader. Then you'll be leading the people, you don't lead yourself. Leading yourself means that you have put yourself in the proper system, or in a proper shape to be regarded, to be seen, to be recognized, to be appreciated as a leader. So lead yourself. You don't just take leadership as a position. You take leadership as a task. You take leadership as a responsibility. You take leadership as a task to produce an outcome. And always your aim is to get a positive outcome. So lead yourself. What do I mean by leading yourself? Leading yourself means that you must identify who you are, what your strengths and your weaknesses are. What are the things that you do well and what are the things that you don't do well? What are the extremes in your life? So that you can curtail it, you can slow it down to help you build your leadership life. Lead yourself. And I'm going to touch on leading yourself in various areas. One, the physical outlook, your physical impression. I don't agree with people who say that, well, leadership is not about the physique or the outward thing. It is about what the person is able to do. Do we know why President Rawlings, all the 11 years of leadership as a military man, was not respected as a leader? Because in the military uniform and with the kind of military command and authoritarian things and the way he commands about was not seen as as a leader, even though he achieved so many. We'll talk about that, but they will always condemn his leadership style. But when it came and learned some of the etiquettes of leadership, he was given that recognition across the world, across the globe. he had the opportunity to show himself to the world in America and Britain and all of that. So there is the need for you to move from the raw wishy-washy type of physical impression to a more decent and contained person. So learn how if you are a leader and hygienically you are not good, you can't lead, you have not led yourself. And so when you are with people in a confinement, a few of you are there, your unhygienic attitude will reflect. Assuming you eat, you don't wash your plate, you don't bath, you don't dress well, don't regard you. So your physical outlook must be decent as a leader. I'm not saying that go and buy expensive clothing, but look good. You cannot be a leader and then be wearing torn clothes. Your shoes are so worn out, but you want to be a leader. Nobody will respect you because the next person who is wearing a very better shoe will not regard you. So you need to be physically presentable as a leader. Learn, be a very nice person. Trim your beard, have a good hair, whether it is rasta or whatever. Look, let it be decent so that people will not suspect you. When you are going for a program, put on the perfume that people will smell that perfume and say, yes, this leader, at least. Even if it's a Bochi perfume, you use it. Let people smell that perfume. The ladies, you're dressing as a leader. You can't be a leader on the podium and then, that's what I'm saying, that in recent times, the etiquettes have been thrown into the boiler. You see leaders and they pump up their breast and it's showing in their dresses. We see that of the Europeans and then the Caucasians. It is not decent. That is a disco type of impression. You can't be a leader and then exposing your, excuse me to say, your parts that are sexually sensitive or sexually attractive to the other crowd. Because when you stand there and you are doing something, people will now focus on those parts of you. And you as ladies, you must know that you have physical curves that attract other people, even your own colleague ladies. So they will not pay attention on what you are doing. So our physical outlook must be well kept. 2, your oral etiquettes. Out of the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. Nobody in your group will be able to know what is in your heart unless you speak it out. And how do we speak it out? We must speak it out in a language that is appreciated, language that is accepted, language that is known, and people are associating themselves with. The language will only come out through the mouth. And so, learn the etiquette of using your mouth appropriately. Use your mouth appropriately. Learn the language, shaping your language, train your language, the grammatical aspect, the phrases, the clauses, and the rest. Use it right. It therefore means that as a leader, you must learn or you must be reading enough to help you polish your language. Some of you don't know when we use past tense and present tense. As a leader, you are speaking
and all what you are saying, there are potholes in them, people will not respect you. So learn the language. If you are speaking the English language, make sure that you are using the correct tenses and the correct language, phrase, and structure to communicate. If you are speaking the local language, make sure that you are using the right terms, the right words, the right intones and tones. Please, your oral ethics is very important. Last, I also touch on, I don't know whether it is you or at another place. I asked the question, no, just at another place. I asked a question. How many of you will expect that your own colleagues will tell you that you have a map order? No friend can do that. So you must be very conscious to check the order that is coming out of the map. If you and your friends are talking, you're a leader, you are in a committee meeting, you are in close meeting, and your map oozes such order, the people will keep quiet, but it does not communicate well to them. So brush your teeth, clean your tongue. The odor that comes out of our mouth is more on our tongue. If you just use the paste to brush your mouth and then you don't clean your tongue, the chemical in the paste will augment the odor in your mouth. So you think that you have brushed, but your mouth is oozing odor. So clean your mouth so that that thick phlegm that is on top of your tongue will come out, and then your mouth is clean. Do it every day, morning, evening. You have a very nice odor from your mouth. So oral etiquette. Don't be harsh to people. Don't use languages that as a leader you will not use. You will not expect President Akufo-Addo to be engaging in vulgar statements, in profane statements, in unethical conversations in certain meetings. So we need to learn what language to use and at what time. The next one is engagement ethics. Engagement. How do you engage with each other, with your followers? You ask your followers to report to a place at a particular time. You yourself, you are late. You met your people and you are engaging with them. You are relating with them. How do you relate with them? You relate with them as subordinates, and you are the only person there. I want you to, after this whole thing, if you have my number, please, you can go to my status and read a few things I put there this morning. A teacher is not the person who has finished learning and so is delivering all that he has learned to the students who don't know anything. No. A teacher is the one who learns and continues to learn. So if you're a leader, as a leader, your engagement should show that you are bringing all the people together, you are harnessing their energies and their capabilities to accomplish the objective that you have set for yourself. You, as a leader, in your engagement, you don't discriminate. You may have a mindset about somebody, a perception about somebody, but so far as that person is in your team, let that perception go and look at the person's potential and how you can harness it. So your engagement is of importance. Some of you take advantage of your leadership to get things that you want in your engagement with people, especially male-female relationship. You have been given a task, and you are now engaging in something that will not cause the task to be accomplished. So focus on what you have been given and then make sure that your engagement is profitable. It is benefiting you mutually and benefiting the one you are also engaging with. At the end of the day, the two will become happy people together, working together. Then your etiquette in participation. You always just want to be a leader. You want to be at the front. You don't want to do anything that involves heavy activity, that will need your strength, that will need you running around. You want others to do it. Then you will come and enjoy because you are a leader. Oh, I'm the president, so they should arrange the chairs for me to come and sit down. Oh, I've given them the tax. I've told them what they must do, so they should go and do it. I myself, I won't do it. No. Participate in it. And when you have been able to mobilize all the people and then you realize that the hands are enough, then you can now stand behind and then give directions in participation. Engage them, motivate them as they go along in performing the task. But what do we see? People don't participate. They are high face. They are the unicorns. So nobody should touch them. They give orders and throw their hands all about without they themselves doing anything. Time management. That's the next one. Time management etiquettes. Time management. Today, I was listening to Japan on YouTube, and then they were asking, he said that when he's elected, is it Japan or Kennedy? He said when he's elected as the president, chaps, 7 o'clock he's in office, and he can decide to go and visit any minister. When he comes to your office and you've not reported, you give a message, every report, please come to my office. And when you come to the office, it says you were late to office today, you are fired. Time management. The problem of Africa is about time. If you want to be a leader, if your followers will come late, you should not be late. Be there. When you are on time, then you can now draw the attention to it that they were not on time, and that is why things delayed. If there are people who you have assigned responsibilities come late, and you start the program, take them off. Next time they'll come early so that they can come and play their rules very well. The etiquette, time management. You have been asked to be an MC, unnecessary things. You are saying it and saying it and saying it, and you are spending 1/10 of the time saying rubbish, which has no effect on your outcome. For that, limit your speeches. Prepare, plan what to say, and say it. Too many talking makes you tell lies. Talk, focus on the thing and deliver. Then your relationship, I talked about that in engagement, your relationship ethics. A lot of relationships there, friendship relationship, tax relationship, and all of those things. How do we manage that kind of relationship? For me personally, when things are not being done, I'll tell you forthright. Talk with you normally. That is the relationship we are building. So build a relationship, and a relationship should be guided by principles. We don't go beyond this limit. We don't do certain things beyond this limit. In leadership, we are guided by certain things. So those relationships must be well put into perspective so that things don't fall out of us. Then we can also talk about the responsibilities, the etiquette of responsibility. You, as a leader, you must know that you are to be responsible for any activity in the group. So in the military code of conduct, every commander of the group is responsible for anything that is taking place or occurs in the group. And when you finish and you are coming to give your reports, you don't point at individuals that failed. You speak as a leader and say that we failed in this. Take the responsibility for failure, and then take the responsibility for success as a leader. Responsibility. And taking responsibility therefore means that you must be seen to be guiding the execution of any activity that is assigned that leader. The responsibility etiquette. Some of us will not do it and want to blame the people. Oh, the program has failed. It did not go well because he didn't even come to consult me. He didn't even come to use the proper thing. He wanted to do it alone. What? When you saw the person doing the alone, did you go to the person to ask, please, can I help? Can you give me a responsibility? Can you give me a task to perform? So responsibility etiquettes. Don't blame others for failures. If you are a leader, you are responsible. Respect that. Then lastly, your moral etiquettes. Your moral etiquettes. Leader, if you're a leader, morality is of essence. You cannot be telling your fellow people to be leaders of quality and of character when you yourself you don't have character. When you yourself you don't have morality, you are immoral. If I say immoral, it's not about only sexual immorality. Stealing, lying, gossiping, working against others in a group out of envy. Taking the praise that does not belong to you. Immoral acts. You should eschew immorality in your leadership. Sometimes we just want to get to the top so quick, we want to be recognized, and so we do so many things. We bribe our way, we steal to do things. I remember I went to as a chief invigilator at the exam hall, and here was one leader of a Christian group trying to talk to another person. I approached the person and said, you a leader, you are doing this. Is this right? And then you come and stand in front of your religious group members and be portraying yourself that everything was correct. How about you are cheating in the exam hall? Eschew it. Because one day you do that thing, you be on the stage and then you'll be saying that, oh, me, come and check me. There's nothing wrong about it. Somebody will say you lie. And when you have a rebellion in your group, you point it out to you upright. So morality, check morals. Some of you take advantage of being a leader and you want to have sex with anything that is sexual. You are hiding. You are using leadership roles to do those things. The whole technical university, SRC leadership for years. You hear all of these things, stealing students' money, investing money unnecessarily, and all of that, and you cannot account for. Then you come out and say you are a leader. It's a shame. So leadership ethics must be taken into consideration in our rise to proper leadership, efficient leadership. quality leadership. If you must be the leaders of the future, you must see the difference in your leadership compared to those you came to inherit. Because they have not laid any grounds for you to build. You are not learning your own grounds to be the leaders that will change the face of the country, change the face of the community, change the face of the groups in which you are. That let us bring etiquettes into our system. Ghana's problem, and I told the speaker that me and him will write a paper on why Ghana's economic system has, due to the failure of Ghana's economic successes, are due to the fact that we've not been able to put in and activate proper regulatory systems. And this must come from you. It must come from you as an individual, as a person. And it should not always be a law. If you set your principle and etiquette, your etiquette becomes your law. It becomes your principle and guides you so that you don't do certain things out of the blues and then claim that you're a good leader. I think I'll stop it here, as I promised. I don't know whether I met my time.
Oh,
thank you.
Mr. Avorgah, we are enjoying the session. Oh, please spell out everything you can.
I've finished. I've finished.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
It has been such an insightful presentation with you, and honestly, we really want to hear more. So, I I'm hoping that from the question and answer session, you would unveil more to us about how we can be better leaders, starting from ourselves. So, ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, the floor is now open. Please raise your hands, and I'll give you the opportunity to ask your question, and Mr. Avorgah will answer them all. Thank you. Yes, if you have any question, just raise your hand like this, and then I'll call you to speak. I'll call you to speak. Okay, since they are thinking about their questions, I I have my first question, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
one
Yes.
issue we leaders have is, the truth really hurts, and when someone tells us the truth, uh, we don't have a way of absorbing the truth to better ourselves, but we become rebellious towards the person, and we end up missing what we should have tapped from it to make ourselves better. Is there any guide you can give to uh, we, the youth, of which we don't know how to deal with hard truths that hit us? Is there a way you can help us manage it anytime it comes around, so that when people are truthful to us, for us to improve ourselves like this session, we can
Yeah.
we can absorb it and better ourselves instead of becoming rebellious towards the people? Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. I always say this thing. You can only accept the truth when you yourself you tell the truth. You can only appreciate truth when your life is built on truth. So you come to realize that you try these examples and see people who always, when you tell them the truth, becomes infuriated, and then they defend themselves to the point of warning you and fighting you back. Check them and see. Whatever they say are all lies. They never tell the truth. You always find means of making things be as if That is how it is. So, one, to accept truth, you yourself must cultivate the attitude of telling the truth, speaking the truth, and being truthful. Two, when people want to tell you the truth, you must position yourself. You must build, let me put it properly. You must build an internal mental capacity to always listen to people when people are talking. In whatever form they come, don't say that, oh, you were telling me the truth, but the way you were talking, no. Listen to the person. Listen. Those that are truthful, take it in. Those that are not, leave them to go. Don't retaliate. Don't try to. Okay, so please, are you willing to listen to my explanation? This is my point. You have your opinion. This is me, my point. You explain. It might not. See what we can do about it. There is the need for you to build an internal mechanism mentally. There are people who attack you. Yes, what you did, you didn't do it properly though, but the person will hit you hard. Oh, sorry, I thought I was doing the right thing. That's okay. Thank you for the correction. It's as simple as that. And sometimes when the thing happens that way, you in this way, say this thing this way, for 3 days, for 4 days, for 5 days, it will be in your mind. However, you know that what you were doing was not what the person was implying. You don't fight back. You either keep silent or you do it if it is against you. So, in other words, I can say that build yourself as growing leaders. Please build yourself psychologically. Build your internal mechanism. Shocks. People will disappoint you. People will betray you. People will deny you. People will tell bad stories about you. Build an internal mechanism that will make you not shake. Because sometimes when you retaliate and you do those kind of things, then they are testing your leadership ability in terms of absorbing the unexpected, the bad things which you don't want. You always want your perfection. No human being is perfect. No institution is perfect. Nothing is perfect. But don't also use this excuse, no human being is perfect, to exonerate yourself if you did something wrong. So for me, that is what I can share with you. And I want all of you to, if you have the opportunity, to read about Lee Kuan Yew, the man who turned Singapore around, the kind of leadership he used, and what kind of principles he inculcated in his leaders, the people he was working with, that changed his country to a leading country in the global business and in the global world space. So I'll stop there.
Thank you very much, sir. I have another question, but okay, Richmond, let's hear from you. Please ask your question.
Okay. Once again, thanks for the opportunity. In fact, I've really learned a lot. In your submission, you made mention of relationship ethics.
Yes.
And as a leader, you should be able to build proper relationship with your subordinates and anybody that you come across. And then all these relationships should be guided by principles. So my question is, I have my principles that I'm living according to, and then my subordinates we meet, and then in the course of the relationship that we built, they don't feel comfortable with the principles that I live according to. So in this case, should I adjust it, set principles together so that you'll be comfortable? You know, you are coming from diverse places, different backgrounds, and other stuff. So what is good to me may be bad to somebody. So in this scenario, should we sit together, set principles together, principles that we are going to live according to? That's my question.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So when I say principles, the principles are supposed to guide you as an individual so that you don't fall into the bad aspect of your leadership. Okay? Excuse me, let me use this thing, let me cite this example. For instance, the issue of the former Minister of Finance in the office of the president also.
Yeah.
Yes. It was found out that he got himself in a kind of malfeasance, which the president ordered him to resign. What is his name? I've forgotten his name.
Charles
And
Adiboy.
Edubuahen. So, here was somebody that the president trusted so much to be a very good this thing. Then all of a sudden, they now expose him that he has practiced a kind of malfeasance, immorality in terms of cash or bribery or something he got involved in. If Edubuahen had told himself that these are my principles, I am not going to taint myself with any kind of money which is not institutionalized or formalized for me to take, he wouldn't have gotten himself in this. And for Edubuahen, if at any point in time in the political history of Ghana, he rises up to any appointive position that you have to go for vetting, this will floor him. It will floor him totally. So what I'm just trying to say is that in your relationship with others, you have set up a principle that you will not go beyond your limits to do certain things that will not augur well for the good image of your group and of yourself. So if they don't agree with those principles, you are still standing by your principles. So you are part of those things. And it doesn't come in the general execution of the task that has been given you, but rather they those people normally look at how do we find our ways around, achieve success, and celebrate that success. So let's go by the wrong means. You are part of them. You say no, please, me, I believe in this thing. However, you cannot stop them. You can say that, well, if you want to go in that way, well, go ahead, but count me out. You are not out of the group, but you are out of the kind of decision they are taking and the action they want to take. Somebody will ask the question, what about if it becomes a successful and nobody knows about it? Nobody will know about it at that point in time, but in the future, somebody will bring that in up. You know something? More people who break principles and etiquettes in doing something in the secret that people don't see, they themselves, in their fight among themselves, bring those things up. So you should not be, as a leader, be part of anything that will tarnish the good image of yourself as a leader and of your the bigger group in achieving a goal. If they want to do it, let them do it and then stay out to help your image. And sometimes those people turn around to respect you. They will say that anytime they are going to do it again, they say, the principal man is here, he will not be part of this. He will not be part of it. And some people will learn from you. Daniel and his three brothers stood out of the many other people that the king of the Chaldeans wanted to make leaders out of them. And these four stood out so uniquely, and Daniel was made a leader. Joseph was a servant in the house of Potiphar. He had all the opportunity to enjoy himself. Probably the woman would have even poisoned his husband and made Joseph his sugar boy. But Joseph said that no, I cannot touch you because my master has not given me the authority to touch you. So his principle, what does not agree with your inner man becomes your principle. And don't force your principles on others. No. Don't force your principles on others. Like I've said, they come from different backgrounds. They believe in different things. So if they will not buy yours, you hold on to yours and let them hold on to theirs. Together you still go and then execute your task. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Oh,
Yeah, Richmond, do you have any follow-up? Oh, yeah, okay.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, honorable members, any other questions? Just raise your hand if you have a question. Whilst you are thinking about your questions, let me ask. Okay, Richmond.
Let me come again. With the oral etiquette,
yeah.
you said we should read more, learn more, so that perhaps we can enhance on our vocabs. I don't know. I want to ask whether there are books that you would recommend so that as upcoming leaders we would go and then search and then read so that we can equip ourselves orally.
Okay. There are currently even on virtual space. On virtual space, for instance, you can use the voice Google Voice app or whatever to say certain things. However, the challenge with Google and the rest are that they will be using the American and then the British kind of language. But at least for the grammatical these things, you can even, for instance, if you write a speech, type it, use Grammarly, put your work into Grammarly and let it correct it to underline everything, change some of the structure of the sentence, and then you read through it and realize that, okay, this one is making sense, this one is not making sense. Are you getting me? But in your oral communication, like you are talking to people, there may be books, okay, but in the books you are going to read them. And it also reflects language is learned more when it is being taught practically than when they're saying this is how we use the language, this is how we must put it. I remember there was this guy on one of the television stations, or something like that. You know, he changed a lot of speak For instance, he corrected one particular phrase that we've been using, and which myself I learned so English expression for using words that have similar same meanings in the same sentence. So you either say return, come back. You say stand up on your feet, stand up, or get up. Be on your feet. Okay. Some of these things, you yourself, sometimes when you are speaking, when you are reading or you are speaking, you get some of these things to be clear. And like I said, you can use the voice recorder, the voice notes on some of the virtual apps to learn some of these things. But to mean that you have to take time to have time for it, oral and dictions and all of those things. You have time for it and listen to it properly to help you. There are, however, let me provide this caveat. There are some of us, our mother tongue affects our accents in speaking other languages apart from our mother tongue language or the mother tongue. What I mean is, for instance, if you go to the typical Anglo people and they are speaking English, the accent in the English sounds a bit funny and inappropriate. That is not what I mean. What I mean is, you are presenting a sentence, the grammar and then the construction is bad. That is what I am actually drawing attention to. So let us be very careful. We are not talking about accents, because some people grew from their rural area and that accent is with them. Some people, they have tried their best because they have been born into that family. It is there. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much, sir, for touching on this important point. As a matter of fact, that is why Youth Impact Parliament is here, so that we can perfect the oral etiquettes of our members.
Yeah.
I equally have identified some of our members that we need to work on, but the issue is that if they are not interested in your aid, you talking about it is like you are worrying them. So I'm happy you have touched on it, and I want to inform them that I have identified some people. If I come to you that I want to help you, please know I just want to better your oral etiquettes. So Youth Impact Parliament is here to help you with Mr. Avorgah as our patron. Yes, yes. So, honourable members, please, any other questions? Okay, if there are no other questions, we'll take the remarks from Mr. Avorgah before we move on with the next presentation.
Yeah. So please, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you all for being on the program this evening. These things I teach them with the assumption that I am contributing to developing leaders who when I see in the future, I'll be proud of. I'll point my hands to say that, yes, these are the leaders I engage with. These are the people that have evolved through the engagements that they have had. Please, somebody's noise is disturbing us. It's about etiquette. So mute your these things so that I don't disturb the rest of us. So it is my prayer that these little things that we are learning, we will apprise ourselves with it, apply it to our lives, then we'll be growing. It is easy to be a good leader, but it's difficult to be a bad leader. Because when you become a bad leader, you find it difficult to control it. And we have had examples even in Ghana here right now. The bad leaders are finding it difficult to change. I'm not talking about government, but I'm saying that we know the bad leaders. When you lead badly, it's difficult for you to change. And some people are facing those problems in our country. You should not be like that. You should become unique. You should excel. You should go beyond this mere issue of coming to be on the top and being a leader. Number two, please. Any leader who says that there is no problem with leadership, but my followers should have a change of attitude, that leader is a failure. I remember last year I spoke about the needle and the thread leadership concept. It is where the needle will pass through the fabric. That is where the thread will pass. If a leader is bad, the followers are bad. So let's not blame followers. Let's blame the leader. That old saying is archaic. You decided to come for leadership. The followers gave you the opportunity to lead them. So you must influence them into positivity. So if you yourself you are not positive, then you are a failure. And let us move away from these old quotations about leadership. Leader must be humble. Yes, he must be humble. We know about it. A leader, a servant. We know about that. Learn the innovative things about leadership. Learn about the trend things about leadership today, so that you can traverse into the new era of leaders. I thank you so much for the opportunity given me to interact with you. God bless you all. Thank you.
God bless you so much, our patron. We are very happy with this presentation, and we'll engage you more so that we can build the capacity of our members. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Now
I will take leave, so please indulge me. I'll take leave on the platform.
Fully granted, sir.
Thank
Thank you
you
very much. Yes, from here we'll be going straight to my presentation, but as I prepare the documents to present, we have the Deputy Executive Director of Youth Impact Movement in charge of parliamentary affairs in our midst, the former majority leader, Aman Odina. Let's have him speak to us whilst I transition the entire program to my presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Right Honorable Jones, for the opportunity given me. And sorry I didn't join the meeting early, so I didn't meet most part of Mr. Avorgah's presentation. I only met when he was taking questions from honorable members. Notwithstanding that, I will equally add mine. I will say the essence of leadership will be how the followers feel at the end of the day. What will be your trademark when you sign out from the current position that you are holding? I do tell our SRC representatives that nobody will remember you how you won the elections, but you will be remembered on how you worked and how you carried that particular office. Transitioning that into Youth Impact Parliament, as we all are aware, the purpose for which Youth Impact Parliaments was established was to give guidance to we the youth, the opportunities that the current leaders didn't get at their disposal for them to develop, so that whatever how do I put it? Whatever things that we say that are not right as far as their dealings are concerned in the offices they are holding currently. We will train ourselves to become responsible future leaders where when we take over from them, we can put things right. But I hold the assertion that we are not the future leaders. And sometimes honorable members on the floor of the House mostly disagree with me on that particular assertion. Why do I say so? Youth Impact Parliament has given all of us the opportunity. It didn't happen as it had happened 2021, 2022, where Honorable Adjwasafu had not been to Parliament for a number of times, had not written to Speaker for absenting herself from Parliament for 15 consecutive meetings. We were all on the outrage and bashing her. But the same opportunity has been given to some of us in Youth Impact Parliament. And it has been very appalling that majority of us in the second Parliament had not availed ourselves. Come to talk about even writing permission letter, seeking permission to absent ourselves from sittings. What I've observed with us is that we are eager to hold positions and let everybody know that, yes, we are youth MP for Ningo Bamfran constituency. I'm the majority leader of this particular group. But the very essence and the work that had been assigned to you, we are not there. So throughout Mr. Avorgah's presentation, he had spoken a lot on how we are to carry ourselves as youth leaders. I want to see all of us. I say this and I will say it again. Some of us may not be ending what we are doing here. Will not be ending here. Some of us would like to take it further. And when we take it further, and let's say, for example, 8 years from now, myself, Honorable Jones, Honorable Charles, Honorable Richmond, and all of us on this particular call, let's say we have gotten the opportunity to lead. We've learned for ourselves through this particular platform that we have. Some of the things that the leaders, so you realize that in Parliament currently, those who went through the student leadership mill and our MPs and ministers today, you could differentiate them from those businessmen and women who, teachers, farmers who had money and they were popular in the constituencies and then they were elected. So when we put all the MPs, the 275 of them on the table, some of them are equally doing well. But let's look at the vibrancy of the likes of Okuchetua Blakwa, Harun Idrusu, Sam George, and the likes. The essence of representing the people. I do ask that in our current form and in our current states, should the opportunity arrive at our doorstep that we are to represent our constituencies in Ghana's parliament, are we ready? Yes, I'm sure probably the answer may be we are. Some maybe we are not yet ready. But at this particular material time, I think we should be ready, because I don't believe that probably our time is yet to come, because when you go to other parts of the world, our ages are holding key positions in government and the like. But in our world where you are to go through the mill and join the queue, to you begin to grow gray hairs before it will get to your turn. But in other parts of the world, it happens. So if Honorable Okuchetua Blakwa, who zoomed out from university, became deputy minister, it is possible. So all of us on this particular call, I'm youth MP for Ningo Pamprang constituency. The question is, how we dress to sittings. Should it happen that they ask us, are you ready? Like, let's say, for example, are you ready to represent the constituency had been handed over to you to represent your constituency in parliament? Are you fit? Are you ready? That's the question you should be asking yourself, so that in our quest to redefine leadership, we'll begin to prepare. Mr. Avorgah equally spoke about reading, which Honorable Richmond asked which books are we to read. I do say that what defines you as a leader is three things. That is to my argument. Maybe it may be different things. One is the books you read. Two, the places you go. And three, the people you meet. On this particular platform that we've created for ourselves, maybe I may be the loudmouth who will speak a lot, but in silence, I've been able to learn a lot of things from people, majority of the MPs on the floor, how to speak, how to put certain sentences and the likes. I get in it. If I should ask all of us on this particular call currently, how many books have we read this year? Aside probably the Bible and maybe any Bible-related book, maybe book for self-development. How many books have we read? I'm sure probably the answer may be none. Me, the one I've started since January, I'm yet to complete it. But from time past, and evidence has it that whoever reads more books is exposed to more knowledge and wisdom. And you realize in the way they talk, how they put their sentences together, how they're able to swiftly put their thoughts together when being subjected to, what's the name, issues. So it is very important. So one, the people you meet, what is your circle made of? What is your circle made of? So I have friends like Honorable Charles, who was the financial secretary NASPA, and then all the NASPA executives that we were before. You realize that everybody is on an agenda of becoming the best self of him or herself. So you will be triggered one way or the other, whatsoever you have, not to stay behind. Is your circle group of people where it is only about, we the boys already. One lady passed by and we speak about it. I don't want to speak about what's the name, betting and like to, but they say it makes the youth lazy. But I don't agree. What goes into putting up your bets, and I don't do bets, but I have friends that does bet. It's a circle made up of people who always discourage people of becoming the best self of yourself. Are you getting it? Where have been the places that you have visited? Where have you been in this year as far as your development is concerned? So in July, myself, Honorable Charles, and some other members were in Cape Coast to go and push an agenda. When we got there, I met some new people that is equally going to expand my circle of people who are triggered to learn more and achieve more for themselves. So in the likelihood that probably there's a program or there's a seminar or a summit where we are to attend, our focus is mostly on, hey, these people, they are taking much money, rather than when we go and see there what we will learn for ourselves. So the places you go, the people you meet, and the books you read it makes you the leader that you want to become in the future. So I won't bother you much with what's the name, my talks. But all what I want to say is that I'm employing all of us and then treating, and I'm charging all of us that the opportunity that we have at our disposal, some youth model parliament don't have it. If we can have Honorable Kofi special aid to Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Kofi Nochukote, MP for Akachi North and ranking member on the Education Committee. We have Honorable Divine, MC for Home Municipal, and then Honorable James Etonam Flulu, MC DC for Afajetu South, and then Mr. Avorgah himself as our patron. We are being exposed to a lot of stuffs. And in the second parliament, we had the opportunity of inviting businessmen and lawyers to share insights of how things are done. So it was no surprise when Honorable, Dr. Kofi Harrison Belly came to visit, was it last in the second parliament? We met him in the first session of the second parliament via a virtual seminar where he taught us about how parliament tends to operate. So from there, I got to learn that probably the chastising that we put out to the MPs of not bringing development to the constituency is not the MPs' work. So that's why I believe my MP so much. Honorable Sam George, when people ask him that you are pushing gay lesbianism bill in Parliament, and then he has neglected the work in people's development in the constituency. His work as an MP is to represent us in enacting laws in Parliament, and that is what he's doing. When it comes to development, it is the MCs and then the district assembly's work. So if we youth can be able to segregate between these two people and educate less privileged fellows in the community that had not had the opportunities that we have at our disposal, and then it equally gave us more insight. So those who know Dr. Harrison Belly, after that particular seminar, he donated to us 11 books to those who were present on that particular meeting, titled "How Parliament Operates." When you read that book into detail, I can tell you on record that after you finish reading that book, when the opportunity is being presented to you today to go to Parliament, you will have little or no issue to deal with. The only thing that ought to be added maybe some few technicalities and the modalities of how an MP is to rule, and that all. But when it gets to the nitty-gritties of how Parliament tends to operate, even at the committee level and on the plenary, he had detailed every of it in his book. So I want to entreat us all. The opportunity at our disposal is a very great one, and then let's responsible future leaders that we want to become, so that the crop of leaders that we have in the national space currently that we are complaining about, we can change the narrative. But if we continue this way, so that is why I want to invite all of us. Please go out, speak to your colleagues, invite them, even if they are not MPs, invite them, let them come, let them come for sitings, let them join the virtual meeting of this nation. Let them join it, because one way or the other, at the end of the day, they'll learn something. If there's an opportunity of this nature elsewhere via a virtual form of this way, you can equally share the link with us. We equally learn, because acquiring knowledge does not end until probably you die. Until you die, we continue to learn day by day. So, Mr. Speaker, I thank you all for the opportunity given me to make this statement in relation to our post-inaugural orientation. And I want to entreat all youth MPs present and not present to take the opportunity we have at our disposal very seriously. I thank you all for the opportunity. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Deputy Executive Director in charge of Parliamentary Affairs. Basically, Amano superintends over all chapters of Youth Impact Parliament in whatsoever country it is. So, due to that, he is a master of Parliament himself, having served as Speaker of 8th Legislative Parliament 2 times. Yeah, so he has shared his take, and all he has shared are useful. All of us have something to share. You know, we also create platform for internal members to share with us what they want to share. It is not always that we have external people coming in. So if you want to share something with us, whether it will be through a virtual platform or a physical, we'll look at it and we'll create the opportunity. All of us have something that or have a knowledge to contribute that the others do not have. So we are open. Let us share ideas, and from this network, we will become future and better leaders. So, Amano, thank you very much for your knowledge being shared on today's program. We'll now proceed to my presentation. So, I'll be taking you through the standing orders where we'll cover your duties, the duties of your leaders as well, and then to expose you to some provisions of the standing orders and also the constitution. All of you who paid the levy were given a copy of the standing orders and the constitution. Those of you who are yet to pay, please do well to pay so that you can have your copies. The standing orders we have as Youth Impact Parliament is basically 80 or 70% of the standing orders of Parliament of Ghana. Whatever we are doing here, if you take Youth Impact Parliament serious, as Amano has said, and you get elected to Parliament of Ghana tomorrow, sir, you do very well because you're already exposed to a lot of things that happen over there. The only difference is that Parliament of Ghana sits 4 times in a week, whilst we only sit once in a month. And then over there is a bigger platform with more resources and then all those. But this is basically a training for you. Even if you are not hoping to become an MP, the training we are giving you will help you if you are president of an association or if you are a head of whatever organization it is. So don't take what we are doing as a joke. Don't take it as a joke. Now let's go straight to the standing orders. Youth Impact Parliament, our standing orders. If you have a copy with you, you can take it. But if you don't, you can just follow me and then we'll deliberate on it. The standing orders is 50 pages, but it's not everything that I'll be reading. It's only the relevant ones. So the current version we are using is the one amended in 2023. For the fourth parliament, at every year we review the document. So the standing orders for the fourth parliament might differ a little bit, but this is the one for the third parliament, and this is what you have that we are coming to go through. So after the first page, the next one is the interpretations. The interpretations is only to tell you the meaning of these terms being used in the entire standing orders. The next is the preamble, then the table of contents, as you can see. And then part one, order one. Now, standing orders is not like a constitution where you say article 1, clause 1, and then sub clause 1. Standing orders, constitutions have chapters, articles, and clauses. But when it comes to standing orders, it has parts, orders, and paragraph. So part 1, order 1, paragraph 1. That is how we deal with standing orders. If it is an act of parliament, it is basically sections and paragraphs. It's only the constitution that we have clauses. So those of you, when you are quoting the standing orders during proceedings, please, there are no articles or clauses. It is orders and paragraphs. Take note of that. So order 2, standing orders. Order 3, suspension. Clauses, paragraphs in the standing orders can be suspended. And provisions of the standing orders can be amended, as in order 4. Order 5, it states that it's the speaker that has the power to interpret the standing orders of parliament. References, composition of parliament. As you know, parliament, youth impact parliament is composed of the speaker, the members of parliament, and the parliamentary service members. The aims and objectives of youth impact parliament you know already. It is the fact that we build capacity, uphold and promote standardized parliamentary practices, build network, and advocate for the youth. Order of precedence of officers. After the speaker comes the first deputy, second deputy speakers, the leaders, deputy leaders, the chief whips, first deputy whips, and second deputy whips. This is the order of precedence of the officers. A tenure is basically 1 year, you know already, and for the parliament it will remain 1 year. If you want it to be longer, then you have to join the Senate that by 2025 the Senate to be in place. But for parliament it's 1 year. And some of you don't know, but at the end of every parliament, if you want to join the next parliament, you have to reapply because we want to see you recommit and then prove that you are ready to continue. It is not an automatic renewal of tenure, please. So when the third parliament ends and you want to join the fourth parliament, you have to reapply for the fourth parliament. It's just the same as Parliament of Ghana. Your MPs go for primaries every 4 years, and then they go for main elections again. So Alban Bagbin serving as speaker right now, all the 7 times that he was a member of all the former parliaments, it means he went for 7 primaries and went for 7 general elections. Yes, so it's just the same principle that we are keeping here. The caucus, obviously, majority caucus will be bigger than minority caucus. Now, the officers of parliament. You know, we have non-MP officers and MP officers. The non-MP officers is speaker, the clerk, deputy clerks, assistant clerks, marshals, and deputy marshals. And then the MP officers, the deputy speakers, the leaders, and the whips. So Article 13 talks about the founding, Order 13 talks about the founding fathers, and Order 14, the function of the speaker. So the speaker presides over parliament, represents parliament in official capacities, facilitates debates, votes, decision. Please, I'm taking you through the function of your officers because you need to know what they do. And if they are failing to do their duty, you can put them on their toes. So for the fact that we are going through this, it's not a waste of time because some of you will become leaders in subsequent parliaments. So if you don't know what they do, then it's quite problematic. Yes, so the speaker facilitates debates, votes, and decision-making processes. He is the head of parliament and supervises all officers. He ensures that the aims and objectives of parliament becomes a reality. He provides guidance to parliamentarians and ensures fair and impartial proceedings. Issue a statement on any matter he or she deems worth for the House to discuss, and is assisted by two deputies, one from majority, one from minority. The deputy speakers, they are already MPs, and we have duties of MPs. So, in addition to their duties as MPs, they, as deputy speakers, assist the speaker in the performance of his or her duties. It means the deputy speakers can perform any of the functions in the paragraphs under Order 14. They aid the speaker in the smooth running of parliament. They represent parliament in official capacities and they act in their absence. When it comes to acting in the absence, when it is unavoidable absence, the first deputy speaker automatically takes over the full functionality and privileges of the speaker, Order 14. That is what it means. And in the absence of the speaker in the first, the second deputy takes full responsibility for Order 14 in addition to his or hers. So that is the role of the deputy speakers. That is the role of the deputy speakers. Now let's go straight to the leaders of the House. Let's go straight to the leaders of the House. Now, as you know, each caucus that you are part of has a leader to lead that caucus of yours. It is incumbent that you know what they do. As a matter of fact, they are also MP. So, in addition to their MP duties that I will take you through, they are the leaders of that caucus. They represent and speak for their respective caucus. That is why, when it is a matter that is not sensitive, we only seek for the input of the leaders. And when it is a sensitive matter, after all MPs are done speaking, we hear an indication from the leaders. It is because they are the people leading your respective caucuses. Now, apart from that, they must assist the Speaker in conducting parliamentary sittings effectively. It is not only the duty of the Speaker and the Parliamentary Service Board that sittings be conducted effectively. The leaders must equally collaborate with the Speaker and the deputy speakers and the clerk, deputy clerk, assistant clerk, marshal, and deputy marshals to conduct parliamentary sittings effectively. The leaders also coordinate the legislative agenda for their respective caucuses. So, as an entire caucus, the caucus can decide that on this matter we are going this way, or on this matter we are voting this way, we are doing this way. It's a caucus agenda, and the leaders must facilitate that. That is why a WhatsApp group has been created for the entire caucus to have start deliberations. And also, the leadership, the office of each of the leaders also have a WhatsApp platform for their leadership deliberations. All of them are there. Now, they are also supposed to lead their caucus into debate and deliberations in the House during sittings of FORA. That is why, for any main motion, we receive introductory remarks from the leaders. It is because they are to lead, and after that, we hear conclusive remarks from them. So, being a leader is quite a hectic job, and that is it. And of course, each of them are assisted by a deputy. So the deputy leaders, your job is basically to assist your leader, stand in his absence, and when he's not around, you assume the full responsibility of your leader. Already you have full duties as an MP. That is why we don't load you so much as leaders, because before you can be a leader, you need to first be an MP. That is why your leadership roles have not really been loaded that much. That is why your leadership roles have not really been loaded that much, basically. So the whips, this is a very important area. In the previous parliaments, the whips were not whipping MPs. You know, this time around, I want the whips to take up the challenge and properly whip their members. The whips, each caucus actually has a whip, and that is the chief whip for each caucus. And each of the whips have two deputies, of which one of the deputies is a female. Your whip has an important job to do, to whip you, to be present, to whip you, to toe around the caucus decisions and whatever the caucus wants to do against the neighboring caucus. It is the responsibility of the whip to do that. So let's go through the duties. Ensure it should be caucus discipline, not party discipline. But well, we can take it as party as well. Ensure party discipline among members of their respective caucuses. Influence the interests of members towards deliberations and debate on floor. In consultation with their leader, direct caucus members in voting patterns. As I already said, if it is a decision of the caucus to vote nay, it is the whip's duty to ensure that what? All members vote nay. It is the duty of the whip to ensure that all members vote nay. The next one, ensure the presence and participation of youth MPs in parliamentary sessions. It is the duty of the whip to ensure that members are present for whipping or decisions to be carried out. When there is low attendance, it is the whip that is failing. The office of the Speaker and Parliamentary Service only set days in Constitution, but it is now done on the whips, which is the chief whip and the two deputies, to ensure that members are present. You have to be checking on your members. Why are they not coming? When are they coming? Ensure that they are always present. And even when they are present and they want to speak, you can coordinate what they want to say so that you don't contradict yourself as a caucus. So the whips are more like, let me say, we can also call them ushers of the entire caucus, or the porters, or should I say the assistants or PAs, something like that. You are supposed to dissolve onto all the members, get close to them so that what your caucus agendas can be done. So basically, the whips, your job is very important. In the former parliaments, the pilots, first and second parliaments, whipping has actually been poor. Let me be frank with you. Whipping has actually been poor, and none of the caucuses have ever tried a three-line whipping before. None of the caucuses have ever tried a three-line whipping before. So you can look at that. So the whips, we put the challenge to you to bring the best out of your caucus. Now, for the clerk, basically, is administrative. Convey sittings on the authority of the Speaker. Prepare order paper in consultation with the Speaker. Prepare, take, and keep a register. The true records of votes and proceedings and official reports. Provide support. Provide support and advice to parliamentarians and the Speaker on parliamentary procedures and rules. That is why, when it comes to Parliament of Ghana, the clerks are mostly lawyers. In the sense that they already know the law and they can provide guidance. Also prepare a register of all MPs and attendance. Now the clerk is the only one with so many deputies and assistants. The clerk has three deputies and three assistants. I have some hiccups worrying me. Let me drink some big bottle of water. Mm. So you see, I'm not even fine, but Charlie, they have to perform the job. This is how far we are dedicated to the cause. Even when we are not in good conditions, we are always there. There have been sittings that I chaired, I was not feeling well. Sittings that I've been around, I was not in the best of moments, but I've never missed any sitting. I'm putting the challenge to all of you. Oh, okay. So the clerk has three deputies: deputy clerk operations, deputy clerk finance, deputy clerk publicity. And in the absence, we have deputy clerk assistant affairs, assistant clerk affairs, assistant clerk accounts, and assistant clerk relations. You know, in the former parliaments, we had MPs acting in their absence. This time around, we don't want that. That is why we have expanded their department. So their duties are just simple and is well in line. When you read it, you get it. And same as the assistant clerks as well, all in line. The assistant clerks also assist the deputy clerks and the clerk. So that that is it. In forming the committees of the house, no MP will be a secretary. So for the standing committees, the secretaries will be the deputy clerks, and the clerk will be secretary to some. And then the select committees, the assistant clerks will be the secretary to the select committees of the house. Now, Marshal, the last sitting that we held, that was the first time Marshal performed his first duty, which is to be the mace bearer. We haven't had a mace until 12th of August. That was when we had our mace. So kudos to the office of the marshal for being the mace bearer. Basically, they are to ensure security, and he has four deputies: physical security, information security, emergency response, VIP protection. Yes, so the marshals are there to ensure that things are going on well. They ensure that things are done well. I'm going to jump some orders because they are not so relevant our discussion today. Absence of the speaker. We have made provision that um, I can be around, but my deputy will chair throughout. So it is Order 27 that kicks in. And I can also have an MP who acts as speaker. And or we can also have an MP who will step in for a deputy speaker. So it is Order 27 that provides for that. So in the case that you see someone who is not a speaker or deputy speaker acting as a speaker or deputy speaker, it is Order 27 that we are applying. Now, this is a very important order. Order 30. Part 4. Duties of MPs. Duties of MPs. Can you see the first one? Can you see the first paragraph there? The first paragraph there. Paragraph 1. Who can read it? Who can read it for me? Yes, Samson. Read the first one for me. And the other 30.
Thank you, Mr. Robert. Order 13, paragraph 1, stated that attend the parliament meetings, paid in parliamentary debates, and hello.
Yeah. We are with you.
Yeah.
Can you
Order
read it
10,
again?
paragraph 1 says attend the parliamentary meetings and participate in the parliamentary debates and decision.
Thank you very much. So, yes, thank you very much. Honor members, so the first and topmost duty of yours is to be present at sittings, and not only present, participate in debates and discussions. That is the first and topmost duty. We have already ascribed to the fact that this is the most vibrant youth parliament in Ghana. So your presence is important to the success. This is not a youth parliament that sits only once in a year. We sit once in a month. So for the new MPs, if you miss just 3 sittings, you have not taken your oath. After the 3rd sitting, your appointment is automatically revoked because you have failed your first duty. You have failed your first duty. Why would you fail to attend all sittings of the House and expect that we still keep you? If you want to join a dormant parliament that will never hold a sitting, go and join, but not Youth Impact Parliament, because this is a vibrant sitting. You cannot join this sitting and you not even attend any sitting of the House and expect that we'll be happy with you. We'll boot you out. Let me state unequivocally that we have booted out members before. In the previous parliament, we booted out 27 in 2022. And then we booted out 22 MPs this year. So booting out is nothing new to us. Booting out MPs is not new to us. As Amano has been saying, we didn't force you to subscribe. We didn't force you to file. So we cannot be forcing you to perform your duty. We cannot be forcing you to attend sittings. So if you are not ready to perform your first duty, we'll boot you out. If you take your oath, we are being lenient to you. When we get to order 34, I'll tell you what goes on there. But please, attendance to sitting is paramount. So if you have it in mind not to come for any sitting of the House, just have it in mind that the law will deal with you, because order 34 is there. Number 2, serve on parliamentary committees to study and scrutinize specific policies. Now we have enhanced our committees. We have reviewed all the committees. The committees that were in the second parliament, majority of them have been reviewed and their functions have been looked at. When we get there, I'll take you through. In the second parliament, the committee system had been very weak. As a matter of fact, the committee system had been very weak. is why we have taken it upon ourselves to make the law clearer for you. Please, those of you who are interested in being chairpersons, if you have not taken your oath by the second parliament, I'm sorry, we cannot appoint to you as chairpersons. If this, you saw what happened on the 12th of August. The people nominated for leadership, had any of them missed that day, we are not going to approve them. We will not give any position to anyone who will not turn up for sit. So we are considering giving the last opportunity for people who want to be chairpersons and ranking members of committees to turn up for the second sitting for us to see you. Because we will not appoint anyone to a leadership position of a committee if you have not even taken your oath. We won't. So if you want to be a chairperson, take your oath by the second sitting, and we see you worthy to chair a committee. As of now, please, we are open. We don't want to come and give position to someone who will not do the job. So our arms are open. If you want to chair, probably you indicated it when filling the form. We'll go back to the form, but if in case you are very serious about chairing a committee of us, inform me. You can send me a message or call me and tell me the committee you are interested in chairing, and then we'll look at it and put you there. But remember, if you have not taken your oath, we'll not appoint you to chair any committee. About 40 to 50 MPs to 60 turn up at the inauguration. We'll rather select those people to lead committees than you, who we are hoping and you have failed to turn up to take your oath. So the committee on selection reports due to this will not be ready, because we want to see people who present themselves for committee leadership at the second sitting. The ones who miss the first sitting, we are giving them an opportunity to turn up for the second sitting. Then we'll look at it and appoint you. So as I said, if you have interest in being a chairperson, vice chairperson, ranking member or deputy ranking member of a committee, please inform me. If you have already indicated it in your form, we'll also go and look at it. We don't want to appoint people who are not ready for the job. Okay, so a testament to your readiness is your presence to take your oath. The third one is assist in the realization of the aims and objectives of the parliament. You know that already. Build knowledge and understanding of parliamentary process, procedures, and governance. That is what we are already doing. From you coming around, you'd have learned a lot about how things are done. Network with other youth MPs, parliamentarians, stakeholders, and share your experience and best practices. We are creating a platform for that. Harness it. 6. Raise awareness about why IPs work and promote civic participation among the youth. Most of you are youth MPs. You have never been shared a single poster as a youth MP before. Those of you who were part of the second parliament, even your own poster, you have not been shared it before. In this parliament, we do poster for every single one. Every single one will be entitled to posters. We have already opened nominations, and before the second sitting, the new MPs to fill the vacant seats will be unveiled and be sworn in, and from there we'll be able to practice from committee. We'll do poster for every single person. Every single committee will have its own poster. All chairpersons will have their poster, all vice chairpersons, all ranking members have series and series of posters. Go and check our social media handles. You see what we have done for the second parliament. And we are going to do same for the third parliament and even more. So please promote all YFP does so that our efforts will not be in vain. And the last one, as an MP, you need to fulfill your financial obligations to the House. As of now, only 54 MPs have paid the levy, whilst we are like 100. So please, pay your levy if you are owing. It's just 50 cities. Send it to the YIM line, which is 781672. Kindly send it there, and then you'll be recorded. And the last and most important, please follow all our social media handles. We are on Facebook, Instagram, X is no more Twitter, YouTube, Telegram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and even on WhatsApp. Those of you who have not saved the YIP line, please save it as Youth Impact Parliament so that broadcast list can get to you. So that whatever the YIP line shares is very important. Follow all our social media handles. Please, all of you, go and follow all our social media handles, because when we are outdooring you to the world, the posters that we do is to outdoor you to the world and tell you that you are a legitimate member with us. So if you are not even hyping our social media handles, you are not promoting to your own outdooring. So please do so. Do so. So order 31, very simple. Order 32. Order 32. Yes, Order 32 states that a member who fails to subscribe to the oath after 4 consecutive sittings from the day of appointment shall have his appointment automatically have his appointment as a youth MP revoked, subject to the approval of the House. So it means the third one, if you miss the third one, we'll start putting you on the revocation list. Then at the fourth sitting, if you fail to turn up, then the House will just approve that you be kicked off. At the fourth sitting, that will be the fourth consecutive. If you fail to turn up, the House will just approve that you should be kicked off. Now, the reason why it is subject to the approval is that at the inauguration, they stated that we should be inclusive. So we cannot have such an automatic rule affecting everyone. We have one member who is differently abled, who is part of us. So for him, we cannot apply the same rule that applies to you. That is why the provision has been softened so that people like him can be protected. But you who can work and has everything, if you fail to come up, the House will not waste time in revoking your appointment at all. Leave of absence. They said every member shall seek leave of absence. It means if you not be around for the sitting, just write a letter. Every member shall attend the service of the House unless leave of absence has been given. So if you cannot write a letter, notify the Speaker. That is me, so that I can give you leave of absence. When I give you leave of absence, basically you are under my protection. You're under my protection. But please, you cannot take advantage of this. So I can only give for 3 sittings. After 3 sittings, I will not give you any leave of absence. And then if you fail to take leave of absence and you miss 3 consecutive sittings, we'll refer you. By the 4th consecutive sitting, your absence will be brought to the House after investigation by the Privileges Committee. Order 34 will catch up with you. So if you take 3 leave of absence and the 4th one I don't give you, that is 1st consecutive, you don't come 2nd, 3rd. By the 3rd one we have referred you, and the 4th one you are out. So if you take your oath by January, at worst, if you take your oath by August, at worst by February you should boot you out if you have been taking leave of absence. But if you have not been taking leave of absence, by the 3rd sitting you have already breached Order 34, and by the fourth sitting, we'll be ready to boot you out. As a youth MP, you can resign. The Parliamentary Service Board, which is Order 36, is there to manage the House, so to prescribe your terms and conditions, guide the clerk, and steer the affairs of the House. Now, there are grounds for revocation. I will leave it to you. We have already discussed majority of them. So order 40, please go and read it. Order 41, you already know, contempt of the House. Please do not be in contempt of the House. Most of these rules, we don't have so much time, so please go and read Order 42. Ignorance of the law is that how they say it? Ignorance for the law is no excuse. Yes, so please go and read Order 42 as well and be acquainted with it so that you don't suffer at the mercy of the Speaker. Votes and proceedings will be presented in order and official reports as well. And then for we in Youth Impact Parliament, at any time a calendar year ends, a session ends. So the first session, we always dissolve and inaugurate our House in August. So the first session is shorter and the second session is longer. So by December, we'll be ending the first session, and then by January, we'll start the second session. Adjournments, special sitting by special request. Go and read Order 52, Order 53. Go and read Order 54, Order 55, which is a closed sitting or a sitting in camera. It's not normal camera. It means a sitting that will not be recorded. Those are, and when it is time for us to use Order 55, we use it. Order 56, you already know, they are already there, the mace, gavel, and ropes. 67, quorum is actually wanted. By the absence of quorum, a counter quorum can be raised after prayers. Publicity, please, all of you are to participate in publicizing the House, please. The House is not only for the Speaker, it's also your house. Publicize the House. So when we share posters, share it some. Nothing will kill you if you share it some, please. Okay, please. Order 59. Any person can come and observe sittings. When you are sharing the posters and people are asking, they want to be part of the House. When there are vacant seats, you open nominations. But when they are not, they should come and be observing. Tell them that we'll boot people very soon and then there'll be space. Call them to come and observe. And if you call people to come and observe, they are observing on basis of Order 59. That is why a whole order has been given to it, observation of youth parliamentary sittings. Dressing, Amana has even spoken about dressing, and Mr. Avorgah, please dress well and properly. The ladies, don't dress provocatively. Lateness is very bad. Please, if we appoint 1 a.m., as a matter of fact, all our sittings on Sundays always start at 1 p.m. on that day. Apart from the inaugural sitting or online sittings, all our sittings start at 1 a.m. Please, I'm saying it again. Per practice, if it's not the inauguration of the House, all other sittings are held on Sundays, unless we don't get the venue. But all Sunday sittings are at 1 p.m. I always get to the venue by 11. By 1, we want to start. Please be on time. Please. Whenever we do any activity that will be during the weekday, it will always start at 6 per convention and practice. Please. Be on time. So order 62, the order of business is already there. President's prayers, as you know, I always read the prayers. And when guests come, statements, ceremonial speeches, 5 minutes statements, filings, debate rules, and note debate rules. Please go and read order 73 and 74. It's very important. Go and read order 73 and order 74. Interruptions is over the content of speeches, motion. So those of you who are smart can use order 78 on your colleagues, that the motion that a member no longer be heard. Those of you who are smart can use that motion on your colleagues. So please go and read order 78 so that you can use it on your colleagues. If they are asked to retract what they are saying and then they fail to retract, you can say, "Oh, Mr. Speaker, may I refer the House to order 78? The member has been asked to retract, but he's not retract. I call that order 78 be implemented upon him, that he no longer be heard." It's very simple. So you can make use of it. The chair to be heard in silence. When I stand up when the house is in disarray, I'm trying to apply or invoke order 81. I'm trying to invoke order 81, the chair to be heard in silence. Please, when you see me standing, I'm trying to invoke order 81. Please, remember, remember, the rulings of the speaker are not subject to appeal. So when I make a ruling, it's only what I want to subject it to appeal, that, but under normal circumstances, it's not subject to appeal. It is only votes or motions that you can challenge with calling for another voice vote or division or head count. So members can be suspended, and then all those vote of censure on members, we can take a vote of censure on the speaker or deputy speakers with order 88 and 89. You can go and read them. And on MPs as well, with order 90, we can take a special vote of censure on a member that is misbehaving. He can come for sittings. See, a member can come for sittings and always talk, but he's full with negative energy and his entire attitude is not good for the house. We can remove him with order 90. Yes, so for the fact that you attend all sittings does not mean we accept every trash from you. Voting in the house, you already know, after voice vote comes head count and then secret ballot and then all those. Division is also there. Motions, you know motions. Please, those of you who don't know how to move motions, let me teach you at once. If you want to move a motion, please listen and listen well. As a speaker and the house, I thank you for the opportunity. I am Jones Amegashie-Viglo, the majority leader and youth MP for Ningo Pram. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the motion that this honorable house do adjourn at 6 p.m. Then, if you want to say something, you say it. And at the end, you say, I beg to move. Please, if you want to second statements or second motions, so most of you say you are seconding the honorable member. Seconding the honorable member for what? What do you mean by you are seconding the honorable member? You are seconding a motion moved by the person and not the honorable himself. Please, if you want to second motions properly. Mr. Speaker and the House, I thank you very much. I'm Jones Amegashie-Viglo, minority leader and youth MP for catching off. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by the majority leader that this House do adjourn at 6 p.m. today. I thank you. or I beg to second. You don't second an honorable member. You second a motion, and please, when you want to second, listen to the motions and you are to repeat the motion. That is why I said, I rise to second the motion moved by the majority leader that this house do adjourn. So please, stop seconding the members. You are seconding their motions, not the members. Please, my people, I've been observing for a very long time. Please, if you cannot move motion was and second motion was, and I think you are basically in the system and you are not learning. As we said, you are here to build knowledge and hope better yourselves. So please, the easiest thing that you should learn is how to move motions and second motions. Before you move a motion, if you want it to be easy, write the motion down. Anytime I'll put the question on the motion, you realize that I repeat the motion because that is how questions are supposed to be put on motions. The speaker ought to repeat the motion for us to know the motion we are voting on. So please, when you are to move a motion, you move the motion. You move the motion by reiterating the motion. And if you have to second the motion, you second the motion, not the person moving the motion. You second the motion and reiterate the motion. Then we know on the records that you are seconding this motion. You are not seconding the person moving the motion. Please, I'm emphasizing on it because at least if you have not learned anything today, at least learn how to move motions properly and second motions properly. Miss here. So when you hear about the question, every time you are hearing about the speaker talking about question, it's basically the voice vote or calling for a decision to be taken on a motion. So that is the question that we have been talking about. The interventional science, please, you need to know how to use the interventional science. If you don't use the interventional science, well, I already know what exactly you are referring to. The interventional science are four, and I want to call on members to properly use this interventional science. The first interventional sign and the lowest in precedence is the point of information. And it is just one finger. It is just one finger. The interventional signs. It's just one finger. So I want to see if I can switch on my video so that you see me and see how I'm raising the intervention. I'm going to show you the interventional science. Please, can you see my video? If you can see my video, point of information is just one finger. You raise it on top of your head. Then after point of information comes point of correction. Two fingers. Please, I need to see the fingers to know the interventional science you are referring to. And point of contribution or follow-up is three fingers brushing. Because sometimes if you far away, I already know whether it is correction or contribution. That is why when it is contribution, you need to be brushing it so that I can see that, yeah, it is not correction but contribution. And when you bring a fist, that is when I know you are bringing a point of order. So know how to use the interventional science. So simply, information is when you are bringing a new subject matter on floor. That is point of information. Point of correction is when you want to correct a fact being stated on floor. Maybe the fact being stated is wrong and you want to correct it that it is not so, but it is rather this. Point of contribution is we are all talking about bus in a budget. Then you want to talk about bus, you use contribution. But when we are all talking about bus and you want to talk about Another thing else which is not concerning the bus, you use information because it's a different subject matter under that item on the other paper. And point of order is when things are not going well or you feel someone is not abiding by the rule of the house or someone has used a defamatory statement or had made a bad remark or precedence, you want that issue to be resolved. You want to draw Mr. Speaker's attention on it. You use points of order. And I rule of points of orders. When the point of order is good and it is true, I uphold it and I refer to the person. But when the point of order is unnecessary, I the point rule that that point of order be nullified. It means I'm not going to uphold it. So please note, you cannot put the speaker to order. When you rise on the points of order, right, honorable speaker, thank you for the opportunity. I rise to put my honor member to order. And he states the order. Okay, so let's take note of that. Order 102, bills and acts, and then all those petitions. Just go and read it. Now, the last two things that we'll do before we end this section is going through the committees of the House. It's very important that we know the committees so that those of you who have interest in being in committees, you can know the committees to call for us to consider you for. It's very, very important. So please, this session is very important and let's take note of it. There is a committee of the whole, and that committee of the whole is like a mini parliament in the parliament. So it's chaired by the speaker and the secretary is the clerk. We only use it most of the times when we are considering a report for all of us or something like that. Committee on selection is a committee responsible for appointing members to committees and it's chaired by the speaker. We have 16 standing committees and 19 select committees. Can chair that. We have the education committee, the entertainment committee, the external affairs committee, the finance committee, the health and safety committee, the intelligence committee. That one is chaired by the minority leader. The organizing committee, the privileges committee chaired by the second deputy speaker, the publicity committee, special budget committee, sports and games committee, the standing orders committee chaired by the speaker, and then the welfare committee. Now for the select committees of the House, there are 19. And let me take you through them. For this one, no leader is designated to chair any of them. MPs are the ones that chair all of them. MPs are the ranking members as well. Now, the select committees, we have Committee on Chieftaincy and Religion, Committee on Defense and National Security, Committee on Democratic Governance, Committee on Election Monitoring, Committee on Employment and Labor, Committee on Energy and Petroleum, Committee on Environmental Protection, Committee on Food and Agriculture, Committee on Foreign Affairs, Committee on Gender and Children, Committee on Human Rights, Committee on Judicial Affairs, Committee on Lands and Natural Resources, Committee on Legislative Affairs, Committee on Local Government, Committee on Student Relations, Committee on Standard and Cost of Living, Committee on Trade and Industry, Committee on Technological Development. So for all of these committees there, none of the leaders of the House chair them. None of the leaders will be the ranking members. But for the standing committee, leaders, chairs, and leaders are ranking members. So look through the committees. Now, what I'll do is that all of you have the standing orders. So for each of the committees, I'll just state an overview of what they have to do. I'll just state an overview because you all have the standing orders. Please, I'll take questions after, after this one. So the appointment committee is the one that vets the applicants for the MPs, for the MP position. Business committee, it has an extraordinary composition. If you are not part of this, then you cannot. So for the business committee, if you choose business committee, the positions are very clear. Apart from the leaders who will be part, the chairperson of external affairs, publicity, organizing and welfare are the additional members. So please, if you are not in this area, don't choose business committee because business committee is strictly uh, the composition is strict to these people, and they decide on the business of the day. The business of the day is done by the business committee. It's a very important committee. Education committee, very as you see, as you know, is on education, matters relating to education. Entertainment, matters relating to entertainment for us and culture. External affairs, relating to international developments, engaging organization and all those. Finance, referring to fiscal and economic planning and economy of Ghana, and financial matters. Health and safety, health related matters, health awareness, safety protocols. Intelligence committee, talking about findings, intelligence, analyzing potential risks and all those. Organizing committee, the organizing committee, apart from the MPs that are part, the four deputy marshals are members because the organization, these people are the people who help us put things in place. So the organizing committee, apart from the four MPs, that'll be four, and then so basically it will lead to nine. No, so apart from the four MPs, two other MPs are supposed to be part because they said not less than 11. But apart from this, this is the leadership of the committee. So they are the ones who help us set it. Please, if you know you'll be very constant to sittings, you want to be part of the organizing committee as any of the leader or members, let us know. We want people who be committed to coming early to help us set the place wherever we have organization. So organizing committee is very key to our heart. If you have interest, let us know. Petitions committee, they review petitions of the house and investigate matters referred to them. Privileges committee is this one is on absenteeism and then all those matters. As you know, second deputy speaker chairs. Publicity, another important committee of the house. If you are not vibrant on social media, we can hardly have you to be part of our publicity committee because members of the publicity committee are people who are already publicizing the house, sharing our posters, talking about us, to continue the good work and propaganda about this house. That is publicity committee. So if already you don't even have the house, you are not even qualified to be part of the publicity committee. If you are that person who is pushing us, we really enjoy having you to be part of the publicity committee. So let us know if you are interested in being part. Special budget. This is the one that is in charge of helping the finances of the house. For finance committee, they are more of looking at national finances and all those. But special budget is supposed to help us manage the finances of the house. So that is what they do. Sports and games, similar to the entertainment committee, That's what they do. With sports matters, and then they deal with it. Standing orders. They are the people responsible for reviewing the rules of the house, and then all other matters. So even a review of the standing orders. So these are the leadership, but it's supposed to be not less than 11. So if you're interested in the rules of the house, you want to be part, just let us know, and then we'll integrate you. Warfare. Our warfare matters. If you like welfare, you want to be part, just let us know, and then we'll consider you to be part of our welfare committee. Now to the select committees, chieftaincy and religion, just as the name spells. For all the select committees, bringing legislation is also part of your duty. So at least before your tenure ends as a welfare committee, you should bring at least one legislation for us to look at. So chieftaincy and religion, basically issues relating to that traditional leadership, chieftaincy, religion, and then all those. Defense and national security, just as the name spells. Security strategies of the country, and then defense and all those. Democratic governance, referring to democratic principles, governance institutions, and then all those. Election monitoring, looking at elections organized, you want to have your take on it, and you can present report. Please, all select committees are also to present reports, so please. Employment and labor, talking about unemployment and then all those things. Energy and petroleum, talking about energy crisis, and then sustainable sustaining energy, and then all those. Environmental protection, to protect our environment, basically looking at issues of that. Food and agriculture, also talking about food, agriculture, and then all those. Foreign affairs, basically diplomatic relations, international trade, and all those. Gender and children, basically who come in all matters relating to empower women, and then all those. Human rights, relating to human rights abuse and violations, and all those. Judicial affairs, looking at the judiciary of Ghana, and then all those matters. Land and resources, talking about land and natural resources of Ghana, and then all those matters. Legislative affairs, talking about parliament, legislation procedures, and all those. You might see it similar to standing orders, but standing orders is based on the rules of the house. This one extends out of the rules of the house. Local government, talking about local government assemblies, and in all those. Student relations, matters pertaining to student education policies. Standard and cost of living, talking about the cost of living, and then all those matters. Trade and industry, and then all international trade agreements, and then market trade tariffs, and all those. Technological development, also a matter dwells on technology and for us to look at. So these are the committees of the house. The last thing that I have to touch on is to talk about the duty of the leadership of each committee. Please take note of this before you subscribe for any leadership role of any committee. The committee chairpersons, you are like the speaker for your committee. Please, those of you who want to know how it feels like being a speaker, you can try them as committee chairs, because you preside over committee meetings, and any public meeting of the house, you read the speaker's prayer. Yes, you read the speaker's prayer. You read the speaker's prayer. You preside over committee meetings as a chairperson. Already, the committee roles are chairperson, vice, ranking, deputy ranking, and secretary, which is only limited to parliamentary service. So the committee chair, you preside over committee meetings of the house and ensure that business is done well. You set agenda for committee meetings and ensure that it is being followed. You facilitate discussions and encourage members to speak. Make decisions in terms of time. So you have a casting vote, and represent the committee when it comes to interactions, and then all those. And in the house, the vice chair, you support your boss and act in his absence and provide organizing support. Ranking member, you represent the interests of the other caucus, because we are looking at the fact to ensure that when the chairperson is from majority, the ranking must be from the other. If the chair is from minority, the ranking must be for the other, so that we can easily replicate that You carry the other caucus interest in the committee. You lead their votes, you lead their voices, and then coordinate their interest. The deputy you assist. The secretary to the committees, the clerk, deputy clerk, and assistant clerks. Please, you are to take committee minutes and assist in organizing the agenda, handle correspondence of the committee, assist in scheduling and coordinating, support the chairman in his duties. As a member of the committee, you are to actively participate in debates, discussions, researches, and prepare for committee sessions, contribute ideas, perspectives, collaborate with other committees, and then develop recommendations, draft committee reports, participating in the committee reports. So please, you have a lot of job to do. Please, the committees, most of you will not be in hold, so you have to hold your meetings either on WhatsApp or on Google Meet. You hold your meetings. If it's a public meeting, we'll stream it for you on our YouTube page. So please, the committees, the committee chairs, make the committees vibrant this time around. Okay, because the actual work of parliament is at the committee level. When we meet, we are just doing things for the camera and then all those, if I may say. So please, the committees, make it vibrant. If you have been a chairperson in the second parliament, you have not held any committee before, you have not held any committee meeting before, either on WhatsApp, or you have not held any committee meeting on Google Meet or whatever before, basically you have failed. You have failed to perform your duty. And those of you who chair in the second parliament who didn't do well, if you are not interested in chairing, we might not nominate you. We want people who are interested in the job. So if you want to continue as a chair, then you need to tell us that you turn a new leaf, please. So at the end of your work, at the end of the parliamentary tenure, we have to give you a certificate. We are no more printing certificates. It's only the certificate of merit. But the normal one, it will be sent to you. So the second parliamentarians, if you are here to receive your certificate, ensure that you pay not less than 5 months dues, and then we'll give you your certificate. We'll send it to you on email. So check the YIP line if you are fulfilled, and then we'll prepare it and send it to you. On the roll as well, recognize members who do well and end of service. Honourable members, this brings us to the end of my presentation. The floor is now open for questions. If you have questions to ask, please, you can now ask your questions. Unmute yourself and ask your question pertaining to my presentation. Yes, please. Do you have any question? Or you have commentaries? Thank you very much, Samson. Thank you very much, Samson. Yes, any questions or contributions you want to contribute? Yes, Richmond, let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the good job done. Majority of us, we don't have the constitution, so it is good that you've enlightened us more about it. And I hope that after the session, we'll be getting the constitution so that we'll go through. My first question has to do with I filed a nomination. I filed a nomination. So the question is that, what if 2 or more people filed a nomination from one particular constituency? How are you going to conduct the election, and then how are you going to select one? The second question is, can somebody be part of 2 or more committee? That is the question that I have for now.
Okay, thank you very much, Richmond. This is the second batch that we are considering. So the same way we use for the first batch is what we are using for the second batch. If you are the only one who applied for a seat, we just interview you and ask you whether you are ready to come for sittings, because we don't remember who will give the seat and never come. If you are ready to come, then we inform you of the levy. The inaugural levy is 50 cedis. Although the inauguration has passed, we prepare your appointment letter from that cost, and then we give you a copy of the constitution of YIM, the standing orders of YIP, and then the brochure as well, the brochure for the inauguration. So you are entitled to those copies after payment. And when you come, you take your oath. But when there are more than 2 people applying for a seat, when we interview you, we choose one and then we give the other neighboring seat. So assuming it is you apply for Cape Coast North and there are 3 people, we'll give, when we choose one person for Cape Coast North, we'll give the other Cape Coast South and we'll give the other Ifutu. So something like that. Something like that. Now, to your last question pertaining to committees. Yes, each MP is supposed to be part of a standing committee and a select committee. So not less than 2 committees each MP. The leaders might be part of 3 to 4 committees. So the highest maximum of committees anyone can be part of will be 4, of which some of the leaders mandatorily they will end up being part of 4 committees. No one will be part of more than 4 committees. But the least is 2. The most is 4. The least committees is 2 and the most is 4. Thank you very much. Any other question? Yes, which one?
Follow-up question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a first time, so I'm just curious about certain things, and then I just want clarification and other stuff.
Yeah.
Assuming we are holding a session at O, and I'm coming from Cape Coast, O and then Cape Coast is a very long journey. So would there be any accommodation so that when I come early, I will get a place to rest so that it wouldn't be late for sitting?
Okay, so with respect to that, we will not pay for the accommodation, but we can help arrange for an accommodation for you in town so that you can come around. Yeah, so if you are interested in coming, just contact me ahead so that I can visit the guest house and then secure a room for you. And when you come, I'll either take you there or I'll get someone to send you there. Yes. But those of you coming from Accra and out of town, as a matter of fact, we don't expect you to attend all the sittings of the house because your distance is far. So the first thing we expect you to take is attend the inaugural sitting so that you can take your oath. For the second batch, your inaugural sitting is the second sitting. Your inaugural sitting is the second sitting. Yes. The first batch people, their inaugural sitting was the first sitting, but the second batch, your inaugural sitting is the second sitting. Come and take your oath. Those of who missed the first session, who missed the first inaugural, come for your inauguration at the second sitting. Yes, come for your inauguration. And when you take your oath, that is when I can give you leave of absence. But if you don't take your oath, you are not even an MP. So I can't give you any permission. So the order that talks about oath will take care of you. But when you're an MP, that is when you can take permission to be absent. So just come for your sitting. Now, as I stated, there are 3 most important sittings for every MP. Your inaugural sitting, the January sitting, and the anniversary joint sitting. The anniversary sitting which will be in April. Those sittings, no MP should miss it. No MP should miss it. So that is it. Yes. Let's hear from Hubert. Yeah, Hubert.
Yeah, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the presentation, and then good evening to each and every one of us. Okay, and sorry for joining in late too. I was on my way from work when I joined, so the network was kind of disturbing. All right, quick one to my question. You've made mention of when someone challenges the ruling of the speaker. It's either you go for a head count or a division. Okay, so can you just enlighten us more about the differences between going for a head count and then going for a division? Yeah, thank you. That's my question.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, when it comes to head count and division, normally when the ruling of the speaker is challenged, it's only on motions. When it is a ruling, not first of all, let me explain to you. There is a difference between a ruling of the speaker and the determination of the House. The speaker cannot rule on a motion that has been seconded. He can only rule if the motion has been moved and he wants to disqualify the motion. Then he overrules the motion. But when the motion is seconded, the speaker can no more rule on it. So he counts for determination, and the determination is when he puts the question. As that order says, the ruling of the speaker cannot be challenged. So you can only ask for the speaker to revise his ruling because no motion has been moved. So it's a ruling of the speaker. It's equivalent to a verdict of a high court. Yeah, so when the speaker makes a ruling, you can only appeal to him to revise his ruling. But when a motion is moved and seconded, he can only put the question for determination to be reached. Now, when you put the question for determination to be reached, and he says the ayes have it, and you feel the nays have it, you don't miss the speaker's attention that you are of the opinion that the nays have it and not the ayes have it. Therefore, you are calling on him to put the question again. You put the question again for another determination of the House. And if he puts it again and you are not convinced that, yes, the declaration he made, whether the nays or ayes have it, is right, but it's the other one, then you can call for a head count or a division. Now, for a head count, it's easier to conduct a head count because a head count is about the people standing. Those who are in favor should just stand. Those who are not in favor should raise their hand, like how we have been doing it. Or it's just about raising hands, or all of you stand, depending on the one that you want. But for division basically is about the members moving and going through the division door. But our parliament that we use, or the chamber we use, are not equipped to take divisions. Parliament of Ghana actually has been built to take divisions. So divisions, there is a door that you pass if you are for the days, and there is a door that you pass if you are for the ayes. And when you pass there, then the tellers record that you have voted nay or aye. It's an open type of voting. So the difference between the division and the head count is the fact that head count, you stay put and your voice and your votes can be counted. But for division, you have to move. So the equivalent division of our youth parliament is the fact that those who are in favor of the ayes will move to the right side of the speaker's dais, and those who are in favor of the nays move to the left side of the speaker's dais. That is our equivalent division. By head count, you vote from where you are and your votes be counted. The next voting after division or head count is secret balloting, when the matter is very sensitive that no one needs to know whether you voted the ayes or nays. So that is the difference. Thank you very much. Any question? Yes. Hubert, are you okay? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question.
Okay. No problem.
So I've witnessed something in the Parliament of Ghana some time ago on the division. I don't know whether it's actually the division. Yes, it should be the division whereby people that are not MP, the non-MPs are equally part of the division. Like, is that how it's been done? Like, I don't know, but if that's how it's supposed to be, like, you give me clarification on that.
Yes.
Because non-MPs also form part of the division.
Well, as a matter of fact, non-MPs are not even supposed to vote from the first place. So the procedure for division is that when when the question is put and then someone calls for a division, the speaker asks that non-MPs depart from the inner chamber so that they join the observers so that the speaker can clearly hear the MPs. So non-MPs are not even supposed to vote in any voting of parliament. But when there's a division, Mr. Speaker asks non-MPs to excuse the house so that he can properly hear. So non-MPs are not supposed to even participate in any voting of the house, not at all. Yeah. Yeah, Hubert. Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay. Yes, honorable members, any question? Do you have any questions? Yes, Charles, let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you very much, the Right Honorable Speaker. I think I'll need a little clarification, being a follow-up to the minority leader's question. At what point in time can an MP or a leader challenge the ruling of the speaker? And if you want to challenge it, what is it? Since the speaker's ruling is not to be appealed.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, as I said very much, let me refer the House to that standing order which talks about Speaker's ruling not to be challenged. Speaker's ruling not to be challenged, so that we read it through and we have a clear understanding on that. Then I'll reiterate what I already told you. Which order is that? I think it's close by right now. It's not here. Let me search. Uh, ruling. Yeah, rulings of the chair not subject to appeal. Paragraph 1. Mr. Speaker shall be responsible for the observance of order in the House and of the rules of debate, and his decision upon any point of order shall not be open to appeal and shall not be reviewed by the House, except upon the substantive motion made after a notice for the reception of the ruling, or unless the Speaker himself on his own peril withdraws his ruling. It means that a normal ruling of the Speaker, as I already said, the Speaker cannot rule on a motion being seconded. He can only disqualify a motion before it is being seconded, or when a member raises a preliminary when a member raises a preliminary objection on a motion. But when no motion is moved and seconded, and then Mr. Speaker makes a ruling on a matter, you, the House, cannot appeal on him like he should rule again or something. You cannot tell him to rule again, or you cannot just tell him that, Mr. Speaker, we kind of ruling. You cannot discuss his ruling anyhow. It's just like a high court ruling, a high court verdict. So, as this said, it is only on a substantive motion to rescind the ruling of the Speaker, and that motion has to be accepted by the Speaker for the House to review to rescind his ruling. When Mr. Speaker does not want his ruling reviewed, rescinded, he can disqualify the motion to rescind his ruling. And so far as he disqualifies it, there is no way you can appeal on it. But that is why they are saying what it is not subject to appeal, because it is still dependent on the speaker to accept that what his motion be rescinded through a substantive motion of the House, or unless the speaker on his own peril withdraws. So usually what happens in Parliament of Ghana is that the members plead on the speaker to revise his ruling or to withdraw his ruling. So usually how they do that, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. I know you have ruled, but Mr. Speaker, I think this matter calls for a determination to be made. I beg that you please withdraw your ruling so that it can be a determination of the House. I thank you. Then you are appealing to the speaker to, at his own peril, withdraw his ruling. If you don't want to do that, then you have to move a substantive motion. And if he does not disqualify the motion, then but if he disqualifies it, sorry for you. So it basically means that under normal circumstances, until it is very urgent or so substantial or so imperative that the entire House is against the ruling and they want to call on the speaker to withdraw his ruling, but instead of appealing to him to do so at his own peril, they want to come by substantive motion. When the speaker sees the atmosphere of the House, he would allow that instead of him withdrawing it himself, he will even call that honourable member, move a substantive motion to rescind my ruling. So it is basically at the mercy of the speaker that his ruling be appealed. But under normal circumstances, on very meager issues, we don't encourage that you call on the speaker to withdraw his ruling, because if you are doing that, sometimes you shake the authority of the speaker. So it's only on very sensitive matters that you should apply the entirety of Order 82 for the speaker to withdraw his ruling on the matter. Please, Charles, are you clear on that?
Yes, please, right, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much. Honourable members, any other question? Any other question? We have not heard from any lady throughout. So. Comfort, you are the deputy clerk of U-House SRC Parliament. Let's hear from you. What have you learned today, and what are your comments? What are your remarks? Let's hear a lady's voice more. Akuba, Mafia, Comfort. Let's hear from you and your comments on this entire session. Please unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. Good evening, honorable members. So far, I have learned a lot of things as a leader. So right from the starting, where we're taught about the ethics of leadership, I think that's something very interesting and educative to take for that matter. So yeah, I think a lot has been said, or everything has already been said. There are instances where people dispute the turning, and I think that's everything that has been clearly stated out there explained. Members of Parliament will do them accordingly without being disrupting the challenge. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for your remarks. And you, as a deputy clerk of the Parliament, you understand the value of what we are doing right now.
Yes, please.
You are deputy clerk to a troublesome house. That's fine. Thank you very much. Bruce, we haven't heard from you the entire day. Julian Bruce, how are you? Julian, Bruce, are you there? Okay. So we want to end the session, and I think we'll receive closing remarks and votes of thanks from our minority leader, and of which he has a colleague. Okay, let's hear from Richmond before we receive the votes of thanks. Yes, Richmond.
Yeah, right, Honorable Speaker, before we end the session, I want to know the levy that the MPs pay. Some of us, we have filed the nomination, so I don't know whether we should wait so that it will be integrated before we make the payment.
Oh, didn't you join the WhatsApp platform?
I've joined, but you posted a list, and my name and other stuff is not in it, so I was a little bit confused.
That is the levy list. People who have paid the levy. Yes.
Okay.
That is the people who have paid the levy, not the people who had to pay. No.
Okay.
Yes. So the levy is 50 cedis.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's to be paid to the YIM merchant line.
Okay.
Yeah, so your vetting will be conducted early September, because the form ends, it starts from 18th August to 31st. So 1st September to 2nd September, all of you will be vetted, and then you know your constituencies.
Okay.
Yes. Honorable Hubert, minority leader, your closing remarks and votes of thanks. And then we go.
All right. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I'm Hubert Agbahode, the minority leader for the third Parliament of Youth Impact Parliament. All right. Mr. Speaker, today's teaching, or I would call it a lecture, has been very, very intense. Starting from our first speaker, Mr. Simon Avorgah, our own patron, one of our patrons. And then he said something: before you become a leader, you must first lead. That statement alone is sounding in my ears several times this evening alone. And we are grateful to him for his insights, his ideas, and then the things that he let us know this evening. And then we've learned a lot as aspiring leaders of tomorrow. And then his lecture has been kind of impactful. I will always say that the name Youth Impact Parliament is not a coincidence, because it's actually impacting a lot of things that you will never find in the classroom, like things that you can never see a lecturer in classroom teaching any student. But we are most grateful for this opportunity that Youth Impact Parliament has created for we the youths to be nurtured. And then coming to the other paper that you've said a lot, and then the rules that we the leaders must take to make Youth Impact Parliament great and strong. I pray and I hope that we will surely do by the standing orders, and then as the Constitution demands us to also do. So to give my vote of thanks, I'm so much grateful for, even though we are about 90 plus Youth Impact MPs, but looking at the number currently online, it's kind of appalling. It's not something that we should be like doing, but each and every day it seems like we've been repeating the same thing. But going forward, I'm indulging each and every one of us to try to avail ourselves, because things of this nature might not come our way again. What if you couldn't go? I know this teaching will be posted, or the post-inaugural orientation will be posted online. But it's good we come and then listen and ask questions that are relevant to ourselves. Mr. Speaker, I'm indulging each and every one of us, like, we should take delight in things of this nature. Like, we will never get it anywhere. Once again, I thank the first speaker, Mr. Simon Avorgah, and also yourself, our Right Honorable Speaker, John Amegashie-Viglo, for such a wonderful orientation. And we are most grateful for your time and then resources that you spent on us this evening. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, our minority leader. Honorable members, on this note, the prayers is very simple. In the name of our Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, we thank the Almighty God for taking us through this successful session. Amen. Honorable members, do have a nice day.
Amen.
Amen.